All right, we're going to start the committee of the whole meeting. Carter.
Here.
Trustee Coleman.
Here.
Trustee Johnson.
Here.
Trustee Sack. Here. Trustee Williams.
Here.
All right, first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go into, I'll ask for a motion to go into executive session to discuss collective bargaining matters. So,
Second.
moved by trustee Coleman, second by trustee Williams.
Trustee Burns. Yes. Trustee Carter.
Yes.
Trustee Coleman.
Yes.
Trustee Johnson.
Yes.
Trustee Sack. Yes. Trustee Williams.
Yes.
Carrie, we're going to executive session. Mr. Carlson and Chief will be also joining us. And
Whatever it been, all pink. I mean, they were this color, the whole color. So now,
okay. Okay, I'll ask for a motion to reconvene to our committee meeting.
So moved.
Second.
It was moved by trustee Johnson, second by trustee Carter. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Coleman.
Here.
Trustee Johnson.
Here.
Trustee Sack. Here. Trustee Williams. Here. Trustee Burns. Here. Trustee Carter.
Here.
All righty. Next item is a resolution approving an agenda policy for village meetings. I think it's going to be explained by our attorney, Roy Carlson, and also by the village administrator, Timothy Williams. Is that mic working?
So I'm here to speak on the resolution regarding agenda policies for village meetings. It's my understanding that the village does not currently have one. It's our advice and it's wise to have a policy for drafting proposals, for new resolutions, for holding of orderly meetings, including both regular and special meetings, just to make these meetings more efficient, to make sure that they're done well and that they're done in compliance with the law. So it's to move forward, and I know sometimes these meetings can get heated and, with intense conversations, and that's okay, but it's important to have it be a clear, written down in black and white ink process that's understood by everyone.
The only thing I'd add is that in front of you is a memorandum that basically walks through some decisions on. It speaks specifically to the policy, it confirms presiding officer, and it speaks to a deadline for the submission of agenda items. It has been a bit of a source of contention in the past that we'd like to have a formal process and date when agenda items are going to be submitted to the clerk's office. There's been a challenge. Friday at 10 a.m. has been a challenge for many of us, myself, board members, in getting items to the clerk and then having an opportunity for you as a board, if there's a decision that needs to, there may be some amendment needed, there may be some additional time for attorney review. So the recommendation from Ansel Glink was to move that back to Wednesday. That items, and I think the clerk might be happy that she'd have items, or I'm seeing some no, but this is your decision. Ultimately, this is for discussion for you all to have, that the agenda items would be submitted with supporting documentation prior to being sent to the agenda. That's policy question A. Policy question B speaks to an annual schedule of meetings. And that's also another opportunity to add some efficiency and to maybe reduce the amount of time that we are spending in board meetings that most municipalities that I'm familiar with, and on recommendation from Ansel Glink, they have a board meeting. They meet twice a month and have a board meeting followed by a committee of the whole meeting. So the board meeting is pretty much would be a consent agenda because nothing would make it to the full board agenda that hadn't been discussed and approved at the committee of the whole. And that would also give 2 weeks for there to be any amendments or any discussion that you may need to have with the mayor or amongst yourselves, not in a quorum, to make any adjustments, and there would allow us to be a lot more efficient. So the recommendation was that we would go to, as opposed to meeting weekly, would meet bi-weekly, have 2 meetings, and that full board meeting, would typically be much more concise, since we know it's only items that the board has reviewed and looked at and seems to be, in favor of it being on the agenda. There is also a question that you all need to review and discuss as far as the order of business. The code has a specific order of business for agenda that we have not been following. There have been some additional items that were added to the 2 agendas, and the order is different than the code. So if you are satisfied with the way that the agenda currently reads, we would just need to amend the code to reflect what it is as we have been operating, but there seems to be an opportunity to add some additional efficiencies by going by what the code states in section 2-65 of the municipal code. There's also a recommendation that opposed to having reports at a board meeting, that the reports would move to the committee of the whole meeting, which would be more appropriate for discussion and give opportunity for questions, as opposed to the board meeting, which should be just business items, voting yes or up and down. There is another question about special meetings in your memo, and it reminds the board, as there's been previous discussion about the frequency of special meetings, and speaks to the code and reminds us all that there is an annual calendar that is published that says what dates all meetings are going to be happening on, so that calendar is available to the public so they know what the frequency is of the meetings, as opposed to special meetings, which can cause that to be in a little bit of a flux here. So I think that's the high level. This came out of the closed session self-evaluation that we did back in July with Brad Cole from the Illinois Municipal League, in which there were some other best practices and things that were recommended. Out of that meeting, there was a decision made by the board to come up with a new policy to help streamline the agenda process. So this memo does speak to that. There's a resolution, a draft resolution that would codify some of these. We would need to turn this memo into an actual actionable resolution. But obviously this was for you all to have discussion about those points.
I'm sorry, yes, it would be an ordinance, not a resolution. Are there any questions from the trustees in regards to this? Trustee Coleman.
I think the main issue that the trustees have, but I'm just going to speak for myself, but I think the main issue that I personally have is that it's the time factor that the trustees have to, one, review all information pertaining to the following meeting. There's not enough time is what we're saying, is what I'm saying. There's not enough time. So to double meetings, let's say back-to-back, just the term I'm using, they're having a committee meeting to follow a board meeting, or a board meeting to follow a committee meeting in the same week would be something that, unless I'm misunderstanding it, it would be something that would even make the time shorter.
So what's been proposed, and again, this is for discussion for the board, is that the packets would be pushed up to when they're due. So instead of doing on the Friday before the meeting, it would be due the Wednesday before the meeting. So there would be more time. And then as far as the committee meetings would be happening before the committee of the whole meetings. So you would have more time to review things before they would have to be taken up for a vote.
So in essence, you would actually have an additional week. There would be a week in between meetings that you would have an opportunity to review any item that is on the committee of the whole meeting. So it would, at that point, you'll have an opportunity to have any amendments made or speak with, if it's an action item for public works, speak with anyone that could give some more information before it would be voted on. So it would actually give you an additional week in order to review items.
Okay.
Trustee Williams.
Okay, so what you're proposing is, if I understand, you're going to change the way that we have our meetings. Instead of having a committee meeting this week and a board meeting the following week, is that what you're saying? You're going to try to have the packet for the committee meeting given to us a week in advance after we've discussed it at a board meeting.
So
The problem is that we have, the problem that we have when we have a board meeting is there are oftentimes, committee meeting, there are oftentimes things discussed that need to be reviewed by the attorney, or we need to have additional attachments to it, and we can't turn that around in oftentimes 2 or 3 days. So explain to me again, how are you going to, if we discuss something today, like say this resolution or this information right here, if we wanted to vote on it next week, are you saying that we should have a whole week to review it?
So if this was adopted for the next calendar year or whenever it was decided, there would be a board meeting first at, say, 7 o'clock, and then a committee of the whole meeting at 7:30, 8 o'clock. Nothing, so you would have an entire week, because you would skip the next week, and then the following week, there would be another board meeting and committee of the whole meeting. The items that were on the committee of the whole meeting, you'd have an entire week. You, in essence, have a week to review and have discussion, have the attorneys make reviews. So you'd only be meeting.
Will we be having a
It'd be-
board meeting?
Bi-weekly, you'd be meeting, but it'd be 4 meetings,
It'd be 4 meetings. but we
Bi-weekly.
vote on agenda items
twice.
like we do now.
Correct, correct.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
Ambassador? Well,
So do we still meet every week,
No, it would be bi-weekly.
bi-weekly?
well, what you're saying is you would have 2 meetings
In the week?
every other week.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? Trustee?
So if we're gonna meet, yeah, I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor. If we're gonna only meet twice a month, okay? And you said we're gonna have the packets in our hands for 1 week. If we have a meeting today, we're having a board meeting right now, say, and then followed by that would be a committee meeting.
Mhm.
And you said all the packet information has to be available for the committee meeting that follows the board meeting.
Correct.
We're not gonna review and vote on the committee meeting items for 2 weeks? Because you said.
No, you'd have an opportunity to discuss those
Discuss.
action items, discuss those items at the committee of the whole meeting, and then you'd have 2 weeks before you'd vote on those items.
Wow. It's different.
Any other stuff? You have something?
That's,
I do like that proposal because there's so many, there's oftentimes in committee, we have so much information that's given to us and we really don't have time to review it. And so there are times when we do have to say we want to table something or we don't not want to vote on it. But it becomes very difficult to vote on something that you really have not had a chance to review. So it's not that we're being difficult, it's just that we need more time to discuss, review, like Mr. Williams was saying, speak to the attorneys, things have to go back and forth, and it has been very difficult to get things done in a timely fashion because we don't have time to review the materials. So I think this is a good thing. I like it, and it's something that I did propose in the ordinances that Attorney McGrath did write up. So this is excellent.
Just one more question.
Trustee Wood?
So if we have a 2-week period in between the time we have a committee meeting when we're reviewing the things that we will vote on 2 weeks later, oftentimes within that 2-week period, there's going to be something come up that we need to address that is something that cannot wait another 2 weeks to go through the cycle. So how would we address if something comes up that we know we need to take care of?
That is the perfect use for a special board meeting if there is an emergency that it needs to be addressed. That is when you have the ability to have an emergency meeting or a special meeting if there's anything that's critical that needs to be addressed off of that cycle. But those typically, the sky doesn't fall too many times.
Trustee Coleman? Oh.
Yes. So let's say at a committee of whole meeting, directly following the previous executive board meeting. You've had a week to go over it after the committee of whole, and you decide that you have questions that you need an open meeting to have in order to have this discussion. Does this qualify as a special meeting now? Okay, you're giving us a week. You're giving us a week to look over what we have. Okay, let's say after we've had that time to look over what we have now questions.
Yeah.
So now do we present them? We can't present them at a board meeting, right?
Yeah, you'd present it at the next committee of the whole. I mean, questions aren't an emergency. They're not, questions aren't cause for a special
I get
meeting. Yeah. Those are something that requires immediate action, which that wouldn't be.
But
And you always have the opportunity to present any questions to the mayor, to the attorney, or to myself. If you don't have a question at that committee of the whole meeting, you still have that following Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then that next week you'll have that Monday, Tuesday, and if the decision is that final agenda items are to the clerk by Wednesday, you have quite a bit of time to address those issues.
so those issues that we have questions about, won't be addressed in an open meeting, but to you directly, or?
It is not a violation of the Open Meetings Act to submit a question at any point.
Ready? I'm still, I don't have a question at this time, but, you know, I might.
Trustee Williams?
So the proposal that we have for this resolution, if we agree to this resolution, we're agreeing to those terms. The terms that you just laid out as far as how we're going to set it.
That's what this discussion is. If there is some willingness to turn this into an ordinance amendment, you'll give, say that they wanted to move to, that you all wanted to move to the regular board meeting.
So in my opinion is, anything's worth trying, and if it doesn't work out, we'll amend that ordinance. I mean, let's try it. Doesn't work out, go back to what we're used to. Because there has been issues on getting information, especially when the attorney's timely enough to turn it around into the board meeting, so. But I just want to know if there's one thing on this memorandum, draft agenda policy regarding C, order of business. Is that part of what we're getting ready to approve on the ordinance? Because I'd like to discuss the order of business. That's separate. There's a memorandum that we received September 14th, and it says agenda policy, and then it says annual schedule of meetings, and then it says order of business. There's something I wanted to discuss on the order of business. Is that separate above and beyond the ordinance that we're just now discussing?
The order of business currently is in the code, so any change would be an amendment to that, to the ordinance, so we would need to discuss that at this point as well.
At this point as well?
Yes, trustee.
Okay. My question is, under the order of business down on the right-hand column, first of all, the left-hand column, it says order of business code section 265, and on the right-hand column, it says meeting agenda, September 12, 2023. So it says that we're not doing things exactly according to what the code says, so there may need to be some changes. My question is general comments from Mayor Burgess after new business and before adjournment. There has been times when the mayor and the residents don't understand why we talk about something other than our committees during our committee reports. For many, many years, at the end of the agenda, there was general comments from Mayor Burgess and the Board of Trustees. That gave the Board of Trustees an opportunity to talk about something other than their committee. Because right now, the only time we can speak during the board meeting is during our committee reports. And it was always clear at the end of the agenda that the trustees had an opportunity to speak.
Trustee, where is that that you're talking about?
This one right here. It's 3 pages. It's in my packet, I was assuming it's in everybody else's packet.
It wasn't in my packet either.
I didn't get this.
No, it wasn't in mine either. I don't know how y'all got it. It's not in my packet.
You did?
Board meeting, I guess. We don't have.
Trustee Williams, I mean, those, the comments that you're talking about, that could be something that would be more appropriate for a committee of the whole meeting. That would also be an option for where that could take place. But ultimately, this is, what is part of the agenda, what's part of the order of business, that's subject to the code, which can ultimately be revised. And, this is what it could look like, but if we want it to look like something different, that's something that can be amended to make it look different.
So this is the
We're in the committee of the whole.
Yeah.
But you're saying that.
His recommendation was that the reports would move to the committee of the whole, and that would be the opportunity for discussion and reports, whereas the board meeting would just be action items that are voted on.
With the new format.
Correct.
Okay, because at the new format, we have the committee of the whole where we can ask our questions at the end of the committee agenda. And in the board meeting, then we have our board report. So with the new format, there will be one opportunity for the trustees to discuss other options other than their committee meeting. That would be at the committee meeting.
The recommendation was that reports and comments would be on the board meeting. And, I'm sorry, the CAL meeting. And action items would be on the regular board meeting.
So reporting.
So that same day, there would be an opportunity for reports and comments.
So even reporting on our committees, our committee activities, and other items we want to talk about will all be a part of the committee of the whole.
That's the
And
recommendation.
everything else would be just vote. and
Vote up, down.
Proceed on the board meeting agenda.
Correct.
Like I say, anything that's doable.
Coleman, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Trustee Coleman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Okay, I'm looking at a scenario in my mind about vendors. Let's say a vendor comes on the committee of whole meeting, and he does a presentation of some type of service that he or she has. All right, I think, and I get a week to think about it, but I have a question. I can't call the vendor, but are you saying that I have to run it to you who may possibly have the answer? What if you don't have the answer? And I want to ask directly that vendor.
And I certainly will make every effort to get an answer to your question. Whether that be put you in direct contact with that vendor, or if it is by me being a liaison for you.
Any more questions? Okay. I would appreciate it if I can get a copy of this. But you have, I'm talking about before. Do you want this to be discussed, that's what I'm asking you guys, more? Or do you want it to be placed on the agenda to ratify it? Oh, I'm sorry. Madam Clerk.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Thought I was gonna have to stand up and do a jig.
I didn't ask for all that.
That's okay. You know, I purposely did not read this over the weekend. I just thought that I would wait till the discussion and know that I am pleasantly pleased by this concept. I think that it will work. I think it's worth trying, and I'm elated. However, as we look at the document that you gave that we would vote on, as the mayor mentioned, I would suggest that we change it from a resolution to an ordinance. And then I'm going to also invite you to look at every reference where you have chairperson or chairman to see if that's what you actually want to say. There's like 4 references of chairman in the document.
Chairperson? Okay.
You see where I'm saying? Is that chairperson or is that village administrator?
The chair of those, if there's a special meeting called, that'd be called by whoever is chairing. In most cases, that is the mayor or the president.
But that's just a little bit, may I continue, sir?
Sure.
That's a little contrary to the discussion and the subsequent document that was sent out relative to the village administrator's role in the development of, or assisting with the development of the agenda. I don't see that position or that role in the document that we've just reviewed. And I'm speaking specifically to what will be the ordinance.
Is that in the memo or in the resolution that you're
ordinance.
referencing?
What will be the ordinance?
Currently. I'd just like for the record to show that the clerk gave me a compliment. This is the first one. And okay.
It's not the first though.
I know. I'm
It's not
joking.
the first.
I'm joking.
So my question would be again,
So
Do
we
you-
still just need to revisit it
I'm
and
just
clean
saying,
up
do
some
you want
language.
to rewrite or whatever it is that you need to do and then bring it back to the board? Or are you actually ready to have this put on the agenda to be voted on?
It sounds like we may need to take another cycle. There's some,
Yeah, it sounds like there are some revisions that need to be made.
Okay.
So I think it'll be another cycle before we're ready to put it on the agenda.
Okay, that's good.
So those amendments will be made, we'll bring it back to the next committee of the whole, so that, and it'll be in final form based on the responses and comments that we've received from the board.
Trustee Burns?
Yes, I know that there's already an ordinance that has been written by Mr. McGrath concerning the same situation that's in review right now.
I'd recommend we have the attorney, if it's forwarded to Corporation Counsel, we can make sure that if there's any overlap or if there's any things that need to be added,
Yes.
those can be worked out.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Okay, so then that's what we'll do. We'll have, you come back with, I guess, all the revisions that you need. We discuss that, and then at that time, we can move forward.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay? All righty. The next item, IML updates and accounting procedures presented by Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and know that I am hoping that you will join in with me as we communicate about IML, because you have so much experience, and you are definitely the IML guru when it comes to information. However, I have just I've honed up our policy and our procedures so that there's no mistake what needs to be done. Now, in your meeting packet that I provided on Friday to you, I gave you a document that looks like this. And that document really is the travel reimbursement policy for attending IML and for getting reimbursed, okay? Did anyone not get a $300 extra in their paycheck on September the 8th? Did anyone not see an extra $300? Yes, no? Did everyone see the $300 extra? Yes. Okay, thank you. Yeah, you all looking at me like, what you talking about? And it's like, okay now. So, what we're going to do, the piece that was sticking out of the folder that I gave you, and I noticed that you took all of yours apart. Hopefully you got them all back together. That's going to coincide with the document that was standing up in your folder, okay? But I'm not going to read to you, but I am asking, because you've seen a lot of this before, but just know that in the manila folder I gave you this evening, there are 2 expense reports in there. One is for you to submit to me, and the other one is for you to keep as a copy for yourself, and or in case you happen to make a mistake, you have that second sheet so that you can, go back over and do it. I want to draw your attention to the hotel motel accommodations, which is D. Know that each of you received a standard single, double, or king size room at the Hilton. The location is there. Know that you need, at checkout and at check-in, you would need a credit card that's not going to be charged until you check out. However, if you use your debit card, they'd put a hold on your debit card for almost 2 weeks after you've checked out the hotel. So I would really recommend that no one give them your debit card unless you just have free-flowing money on your debit card that you can just let them gain interest on. Just read through that. One thing that's just a little different, if you jump down to number 4, we've always asked you to give us reports, and the purpose of giving reports is to enlighten our residents, let them know what you've learned, what's new and innovative that's going on across the state, but then it also shares that with your other fellow trustees, because we cannot all go to every session. Know that it's action-packed. And that's the reason I'm going through this, because we have 4 new trustees, and I don't want you to go down there being so overwhelmed, saying, oh my God, they didn't tell me this. Know that sessions start on Thursday morning at 9 o'clock. But usually at 9 o'clock, those are for the attorneys. But if there's a session that you would want to go to, you can. For instance, at 9 o'clock on Thursday morning, there's a session that I want to go to dealing with torts. And our illustrious village is listed as one of the examples. So I just really want to hear what they're saying. And tort. Tort. Mm-hmm. A tort means litigation, for those of you who may not know. Okay, it's every hour and 15 minutes, a new session is taking place. And you go run from one place to another. So just be high energy and make certain that you know you go to as many as you can. Know that this is the first time around, though, that they will not be providing any handouts to anyone, okay? But I'll talk about that later. But under reports, it is expected that when you come back, you give a formal report out of the sessions you attended, what you gleaned from it, what was really eye-opening for you, what you would possibly like to see replicated. I'm going to share something else with you. Take your business cards with you. Take your business cards, because they have all of these different raffles, and they're going to ask you, everybody that stop you, to give you these little ink pens or whatever they give you. They're going to want your business card. And they offer up a nice little gift. But know that all that means is you're giving them license to contact you. Was that a nice way of saying that? To contact you for the whole next year. Asking you to come, asking if they can come here and present to us and buy their product or whatever. That's that one that I had given you on Friday. In your packet, though, I provided another one, and I provided this, and I'm certain you guys probably saw this already because it came from IML to your email yesterday toward maybe 5, 6 o'clock, but I thought that I would share it with you anyway in case you didn't have an opportunity to look at your email. I am going to invite you to look at that, but then down in the middle, it's asking you to sign up for their app. Once you get their app, then it opens up every session, and as you click which session you want, then it builds your portfolio for the entire time. And it's going to be very helpful. You're going to see that there are some things that's happening at the same time, and so you're going to have to weigh which one you're going to go to first and then leave and go to the next, or how you're going to handle it. But you are going to want to download that app. Wouldn't you say, Mr. Mayor?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about money issues. I said that you had 2 expense reports, right? When you come back, you're going to complete one of those. If you look in your packet, also you have a brown folder. That's only if you want to use it. I think that it's really good to keep all the receipts that you get together, unless you're like me, you will lose them. I guarantee you, I do. So I thought that this would help. Give your receipts, attach it to that, okay, to your expense report. If you do not use the entire $300, and the reason why it's $300 opposed to $450, the way we had possibly projected, is because when we talked about it, no one else mentioned it again. And you were going to think on it, look at if the ordinance was needed to be changed or what, but since no one gave the necessary feedback, then it reverted to what it normally is, which is the $300, okay? In your package also, in the event that you RSVP'd with Robinson, you have one of these. Some of you have two because you're having a guest. So this is just giving you that information. Those of you who actually RSVP'd with me for Bernardi Securities event that's taking place on Thursday, these are your tickets that you with the numbers that you requested. If you did not respond back to the 3 or 4 proddings that I did, then I could not, in all good shape or form, register you, RSVP, because everybody don't want to go to everything, and our emails is our way of communication. If you look on the front of your folder, underneath your name, that's your confirmation number for the hotel reservation, okay? So sometimes they'll ask if you know your confirmation number, that's it right there, so you'll be able to share that with them. Mr. Mayor, may I ask if there are any questions of anyone?
Sure. Anyone have any questions?
Everyone have my phone number, my cell phone, 708-921-3662. Give me a call if you have any problems, especially with registration. But if you have a problem or need to reach out to me, don't hesitate to call me. 708-921-3662. Okay, Mr. Mayor, that's it. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. Before you walk out the door today, I am going to ask that you pull this sheet here that was hanging out and write your name, give me a signature and the date, because it's basically saying that you understand what that $300 was for. You understand that you're responsible for returning any unused funds. And believe it or not, I return monies every year because I never have an opportunity to really spend money because they feed you. I mean, the little snacks and everything, I don't know. But that last point also, you are aware that a failure to submit the expense report and any funds due, if they are, then if you were to run for office again, guess what? I wouldn't be able to swear you into office. So you are agreeing to all of that. So before you leave and go home tonight, I'm going to ask that you give me that for the file. And for real, Mr. Mayor, I'm finished.
Okay. No questions? Okay, go right into public comments. All questions and comments will be directed to the mayor, each speaker. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, we're going to public comment. Each speaker may comment on matters pertaining to village matters only. Each speaker is allowed one opportunity to speak for up to 3 minutes and may not engage in debate, counter replies, and rebuttals. Please state your name. Once you step up to the mic, you can go from there.
Good evening. My name is Logan Davenport.
Did you say Logan?
Yeah, Davenport. I want to thank Trustee Burns and her organization, Chicago Kings and Kings Ladies of House, for the Academic Achievement Scholarship Award. I'm in all honors and AP courses at Bloom Trail, in ROTC and on the drill team, along with the football team. This award and donation that I will place in my college fund encourages me to keep doing what I'm doing to reach my life dream of becoming an architect. I also want to thank Trustee Burns on behalf of my sister, Layla Davenport, who is currently pursuing her life dream of being in the medical field. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, may I present him with his scholarship award right now as they come up
You can't ask me when it gets to you.
at the end of it?
No, but you're going to have a chance to.
Okay.
When it comes to trustees and mayors, you have a chance to at that time.
That doesn't have to do with the It's not good.
My name is Darius Meeks. Thank you to the Chicago Kings. No, thank you to the Chicago Kings and Kings ladies of House for hosting this event, especially, and a special thank you to Trustee Burns for nominating me to be one of the scholarships. Thank you.
I would like to give high appreciation to the Chicago Kings and Kings Ladies of House for hosting this event. It is a great honor to be awarded with this academic certificate and scholarship. Thank you for motivating me to continue with my academic success and community service. I am exceedingly grateful for your generosity in funding this scholarship, and I feel fortunate to have been selected. Thank you again for the support.
What was your name? I didn't get your name.
My name is Darion Lee.
Williams?
Lee.
Lee?
Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Larry Sapp, and I really came here tonight to just express my concerns on the way we as residents are treating each other in these meetings. I think all of us want the same thing. We want the village to be better. I get upset sometimes, and I need to check myself on that, and I will, because I don't have anything against any of these residents. I don't have a problem with the residents. I have a problem with the way I see some of the things happening in the village. And I don't want that to be perceived as an attack on the mayor, on the board, or on anyone. I just want what's right for this village so that everybody can prosper. We need prosperity in the village. And so I think that we can start with respecting each other's right to have a valid concern or have a question. It's not an attack, Mayor. It's a question. If I ask one, it's because I'm concerned about a particular situation. And people get upset and they perceive that to be an attack, but it's not. It's just my concern. And I'm going to respect the right of other people in the village, whether I agree with them or not. They still have the right to ask their questions and express their concerns. And so I wanted to throw out an olive branch so that we as residents can get back and focus on trying to help straighten this village out instead of fighting one of the fiasco that went on last week was uncalled for, and I was a part of it. And I apologize for that. My behavior was unbecoming as a man and as a resident of this village. And I'm hoping that by standing here, being openly and honest about my particular involvement in any situation last week, that we can move forward respecting each other's rights to ask questions. I'm not attacking anyone. If I have a concern about something I see that I think is wrong, I'm going to speak on it, and I have a right to do so, as well as everyone else here. And I hope we can move forward with respect and love for one another.
Hi, my name is Ernestine Blackman, and I just want to piggyback off what he just said. I'm in agreement with it. We do need to come together as citizens, trustees, so that we can move this village forward. And I also want to apologize to Mr. Coleman. You know, I was out of character. I didn't agree totally with what was going on. But we as citizens, we need to work together so that we can move this village forward, because anytime something is divided, it will not stand. And we're not going to get anywhere fighting against one another. Thank you.
I'm Francine Anderson. I like what was just said by the other two previous citizens, and I would just like to say, We had a call meeting today. And the call meeting was to correct what was done on last week. For you to consider changing and re-looking at the things that you said no to took a lot of effort. So for those that were present, I want to say thank you for having the wherewithal to make those changes. Because we as the citizens really were in an uproar on last week. And as said before, I can give respect to each and every one of you, just like each and every one of those citizens that are sitting in the audience behind me. But I do believe that you set the tone. And as trustees, I hope that you will continue to set a better tone so that things don't be outrageous in the audience. For what was discussed today, it saddens me that you are getting ready to change the schedule, how these meetings are ran. I have found it very productive for you to have your general meeting where you get information, and then your voting meetings. I know that you all are considering switching that to only 2 meetings a month where you will be voting. I don't know how the citizens are gonna know, because we've had so many call meetings, it's gonna have you really initiating more call meetings. So I think that that what was offered today as an ordinance of changing your agendas, I totally disagree with. And if you find it not enough time to get your studying done, then I will hope that you will be able to make some adjustments in your personal schedule, because you have decided to be trustees. And in deciding to be trustees, then you put that obligation on you, yourself, and your family. And I'm hoping that you will find the time to do that as other trustees before you have, to make good decisions. And whenever you find time, so we can no longer have to pay for 2 set of attorneys. You now have your legislative counsel, and we have a corporate counsel that we are continuing to pay for. Your legislative counsel have not been present for the last 2 or 3 meetings, so I hope that he is not being paid for the ordinance that is drafted by Mr. McGrath. We know that he has a history of graphing whatever you would have done, and have it done in the direction of legislative, but that doesn't always mean that it is protecting the citizens and what is needed for the village of Sauk Village. I hope that you will have more time to study and get the information that you need to continue to have these meetings as scheduled, the way you have always done them, with the general meetings on the 1st and the 3rd, and then the voting meetings on the 2nd and the 4th. I look forward to having or hearing about your decisions at your next meeting. Again, I am Francine Anderson.
Good evening. I'm a resident, Sharon Davenport. And I'm not gonna mention the burned up house next to me again, but I've seen all y'all pictures and all the roads, nothing's been done yet. And she actually received a disconnection notice for her water. The house has been burned up and sitting for 3 years, and she received a disconnection notice for $2,232, I think it was, something like that, and the house is just sitting there. I didn't quite understand how that happened. When other residents, you be off for money, or let me be off for money, y'all gonna shut me down. So I wanted someone to look into that and see. I don't think it's fair that she's gonna have to pay that, that particular homeowner. Also, I don't come to the meetings because I have a lot of other things going on right now. I do watch anybody that videos, and then I'll share it to my page. I appreciate if we can get some videos or something so that people who can't make it can be able to be a part of the meetings. Also, I liked everything that was stated from those who came to the podium today. Thank you, Trustee Burns, for looking out for the children. I appreciate that, and I appreciate each and every one of you that come out. Trustee Williams, you know, she usually will call, hey, I can do this. And one thing that Village Clerk Pruitt said to me one time when I told her I had some things going on, she said, if you need me to go with your son, I will go. It takes a village, and the only way that it can be a village, not just Trustee Burns, not just Village Clerk, is for forgiveness. When does it end? Let's take a time tonight and extend mercy. We have been shown so much mercy. I was not perfect during my 10 years, but people change. I've changed. I know you all have, and I know that you can. Allow yourself and allow your co-partners to be able to do that same thing. So I just wanted to share that, and I forgot what else it was, so I think that's about all I'm supposed to say. But I want to be able to, you should be able to speak to each other. You don't have to like each other, but you can do business together. You don't have to like each other, but you can speak to one another and keep it moving for the sake. Oh, 1 minute.
1 minute.
Okay, and the last part, I just remembered it. The other reason I'm saying that, because our children, our youth, they still need you all. They need your help, and if we can't come together, then how can we help the youth? And what example are we to the youth? My friend's house was shot up a couple of months ago, and I don't know if you all heard about it. 22 bullets was found. And right now, her son that we should have been holding on to is sitting in the Audi home, and she's hiding out right now so that they don't get in trouble. My son does security, and I'm sure many of you know about the shooting last Friday at Hillcrest. That was my son, standing that close where that chair is to that young man. That he was the closest one to him when it occurred, and he stumbled and fell into my son's arms and said, "Help me." And then he fell to the ground. My son had to experience that trauma. Where is our community? Because we can't speak to each other to come and make sure that my son is good. Thank you.
Mayor, the sound is effective. Oh.
Hi, my name is Dorlin Peters. I am coming following two of my sons. I just want to give a special thank you to Trustee Burns for electing my sons to receive a scholarship. My sons were really modest when they came up and introduced themselves, so I would like to just give further information on why they were selected. My son Darius, stand up. Darius, you guys probably recognize him because he likes to come to every meeting. He enjoys politics. He has aspirations to actually be a politician one day. Darius is a junior in Sauk Village. We are residents. He's been in the district for about 12 years. Darius was recently awarded as the Chicago Heights Notary Club November 22 Bloom Trail Student of the Month. He was recently presented with the Bloom Township District 206 Student of the Month Award. And he also interviewed successfully and applied for a commander of Bloom Trails Recycling Club, and he was hand-selected by the NJROTC chief and staff. And he has actively participated in ROTC for 3 years, and he volunteers all over Sauk Village. My other son, Darian, stand-up son, he was Rickover's last year valedictorian, so he was top of his class. He has been in Sauk Village School District since he was in pre-K, and he has been on A honor roll every year since then. So he is active in ROTC as well. And I just want you guys to know that these are the youth that you have growing up. They enjoy coming to the meeting, and last week I was very embarrassed to explain to him what happened last week, but hopefully things get better. Thank you.
Resident of Sauk Village, Tamika Odell. I just want to take the time and say, everybody coming up here and speaking, which is a great thing because we all are adults in here, and we should not have to go through this. The incident that took place last week, I felt that I was disrespected by Mr. Coleman and attacked by him, and I don't even understand why. I was leaving out and he approached me. I didn't say nothing to him. And me as being a woman, I have to stand up for myself. Him as being a man, you should never approach a woman like that again. And I hope it don't happen again. Thank you.
Okay. All right, may not like what I'm about to say, but there were 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Residents that got scholarships from Trustee Burns. However, okay, 4. I thought it was 3. Okay, so it was 4. However, that's not a village event, so I will ask that those scholarships be presented. They can be presented here, but it'll be after the meeting. So if you guys can stick around, we can go through that and have them, have her take pictures or whatever, if she has something to give, or take care of that part. Because if I do that, then it's not a village event. Hopefully one day, maybe when things get rewritten or whatever, we can do that. As far as the other things that were concerned, I said last week, and I'm not gonna say it again this week, but I'm hoping, I see that, hopefully I've heard what people said, so hopefully everyone else did also. And the video, the meetings, I'm looking into something to that effect, not just having it done by a private person, but we have Comcast out here. They come throughout the village. Maybe we can get them to set up a camera that we can use each and every meeting for that reason. I think we tried that years ago before I was mayor. I don't know whatever happened to that, but it didn't.
A lot of stringent requirements.
Okay. So hopefully we can, I'll do something to bring that back. Okay, we'll go with comments from the trustees. I'm gonna start with Trustee Williams and work this way back.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My thoughts are all over the place. First of all, thank you all for coming to the podium and saying the things that you said, because much of what you said I have written down on my paper. And I have to know, we're all in this together. I've been a part of this village since 1987. I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. I don't want to repeat a lot of things that I've seen in the past. I think it's time that we move forward. But most importantly, last week's meeting, I'm kind of glad I wasn't a part of it. I mean, pardon me for missing a meeting, but my husband was in the emergency room for 12 hours, and I felt that that was my place to be. But however, depending on what Facebook page you read, I was at the meeting, and I voted at the meeting. So this is part of the problem, people. We listen to Facebook, we listen to our neighbors, we listen to people that have preconceived notions about us, and that hatred filters into the community. A lot of people that got up at that mic last week and mentioned my name, and many did. My name was mentioned a lot. Don't think it does, I'm not gonna say it doesn't bother me, because I hear you, but it bothers me because you don't know me like that. If you know me, you know that that's not the type of person that you're talking about. That's not me, okay? But I let you have your moment like I have my moment. But realize everything that was said by the residents, the board feels the same way. And it just takes sometimes one little thing to start things, and it gets out of hand. But one of the things that was mentioned last week in public comment was the fact that I put Trustee Burns' fundraiser in the Sauk Talk. And I thought about it long and hard. When I realized what the money was going for, the money was going to give, I believe it was $500 scholarships to young people in and around Sauk Village. To me, it's important. And if people need to know that this event is going to take place, I don't put just Sauk Village events into Sauk Talk. I put events from Plume Township, I put events from outside the community to let the residents in Sauk Village know not only what's happening in Sauk Village, but what's happening around. I put events in there from churches. I put events in there from all types of people. It doesn't always have to be with whether or not we got paid because of an event that was put into Sauk Talk. But what it is what are we saying about Sauk Village? How do we want to portray ourselves, and how do we want to give our residents information? And speaking of the Sauk Talk, the deadline was the 15th. I got not one article, not one piece of information. Nobody submitted anything until the mayor's assistant submitted on September 18th. Now we're all told to run by rigid standards, follow this deadline, do it this way, you can't go beyond this day, but yet I have to be the one that says, okay, the mayor submitted it late, what do I do, not put it in? If I don't put it in, we won't have a Sauk Talk. I digress. The library always says their stuff. I get stuff from the church. I do get stuff from other places. But what I'm saying is, I cannot, and I will not, put the Sauk Talk out without the mayor's article, even though it was 3 days late. Because personally, what's more important to me is the content of what his article states and not how I feel about the deadline not being adhered to. So I respect the fact that there's a lot of things that the mayor wants the residents to know, and he is on the front page of the Sauk Talk. And without his article, we lose a lot of information. So I will put the article that was 3 days late in the Sauk Talk, and I'm going to extend the rest of the board and any other resident and outside entity that like to put something in the Sauk Talk for October, please give it to me, I hope by Monday, because my important thing is I want to get everybody's information in. And moving on, so I wasn't here last week. I didn't vote. I was told that we did not approve some union situation. That wasn't even on the agenda last week. It was on this week's agenda. And the thing that really bothers me is the vendettas are on both sides. You can hear it when people come to the microphone. People are literally carrying a lot of hatred. Some, they don't even know why they hate this person or why they hate this situation. They just know when they get to the mic, they can talk about how mad they are at the way everything is happening. So I don't know. I wasn't here last week, but what I heard and what I saw, it hurt me. It hurt me hard, and I wasn't even here. But if you know me, when the meeting's over, there I go. I don't participate in all that. You don't see me 1 minute past when the mayor says meeting adjourned. And it's not that I don't want to speak to residents, because I'm going to tell you, that is not what it is. I am available to every resident, 24/7. My number is everywhere. My email is everywhere. I am there for you. I fight for you. But I just want people to know what was said here tonight was wonderful. We need to make the decision to if we're going to divide or if we're going to work together. Are we going to be part of the problem or are we going to be part of the solution? We don't always agree. This board doesn't always agree. The residents don't always agree. But you know what? There's something to be said about diversity. And diversity also comes with opinions. I might not have the same opinion as you. You might not have the same opinion as me. Please feel free to share your opinion with me. And believe me, I'll give it a lot of thought. But if we have diversity is one thing, but to have adversity, that's totally different. We cannot move forward with adversity. It's not going to happen. Last week's meeting really got to me because of the things that were said and done. And even though I wasn't here, and even though they stated I was, it did bother me. But one thing I want to just point out, a couple people have made a couple quotes. I was sitting in church on Sunday, and if anybody's offended by this, I'm going to apologize ahead of time. I'll apologize a little bit. But I was sitting in church on Sunday, and this happened to come. Now, this is Sunday after last Tuesday's meeting, and Luke 11:17 says, "But he, knowing their thoughts, said unto them, Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and a house divided against a house falleth. If Satan also be divided against himself, how shall his kingdom stand? Because ye say that I cast out devils." Yes. Now I want everybody, please do me a favor, whether you like me or not, whether you know me or not, and whether you read Sauk Village, Illinois Facebook page, which is nothing but a rag, because all he does, yeah, that's you, Mr. LaRock. All he does is lie and incite people.
The video doesn't lie.
Trustee.
The video doesn't lie. The video doesn't lie.
The video does lie.
You're
You
inciting.
lied. You lied. No, Mr. Mayor.
You're inciting. You're inciting. You call people's names out. Yes, you are.
Sauk Village, Illinois? Oh.
No, you just got to call the man's name out. That's
Okay,
inciting.
I beg your pardon. I called his name out. I don't really. Anyway, he just said the video don't lie. He lied. He was sitting in the audience last Tuesday. But yet, in Sauk Village, Illinois Facebook page, I was present. And I voted. Listen, no, let me have my moment. You're cutting me off, and let me have my moment. Everybody had all their moments last week. When Sauk Village, Illinois Facebook page posted I was at a meeting and I wasn't, that is wrong. And if the mayor doesn't want me to say it, I'm still going to say it, but I'm going to say it with a grateful heart. I'm a grateful heart because I'm here to tell the truth. And that's all I need is to tell the truth. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
I'm going to say this, I'm only going to say it once. If we get into personalities, I will adjourn the meeting. Because that's not what it's for. It says trustee comments. Not opinions, not pointing fingers, and all this other kind of stuff that we're doing. That's why we can't move anywhere, because we incite. We keep adding fuel to the fire. Give your comments. Should be about something positive than what's going on in the village. But we start singling out people, that doesn't do anything but make, you're not going anywhere. So I guess, like the clerk just told me, they never get a chance to say anything because I always stop before it gets to that point. So I'm asking that we don't do that. I'm asking that we don't point fingers, call people's names. That's not what it says public comments. Trustee Sauk.
Can you hear me? Good evening, everyone. I'd like to thank the residents for their positive comments. Oftentimes, we are pointed out and negative things are said. It's not always true. Sometimes people have a tendency to edit and make it appropriate. I'm sorry. So I just want to say that if there, at any point, if there's a misunderstanding or you need clarification about something that's been said, it's okay to address me directly. I don't have a problem answering any questions or clarifying anything. I want to thank Trustee Burns and her husband for their event. I did attend it, and it was beautiful. And the scholarship awards was something that was great. It encourages our children to aspire to something higher, and that's what we need. My committee will meet on the 9th of October in the community center, and I hope you all will attend. And that concludes my comments. Thank you.
Trustee Burns.
Thank you, Mayor, Madam Clerk, trustees, and our residents. I do thank everyone for their reevaluation of self. That's what we have to always do, is reevaluate self. And I think that it shows maturity and courage to do that, because we are human beings, and we are not always doing things, we won't always do things what we consider, or all of us consider the correct way, because we all have our ways. So thank you guys very much. There was something said on last week referencing my event and my husband's and I event being in the Sauk Talk. One thing we should, as Trustee Williams said, we should not limit our community paper to just community sponsored events. There are so many businesses in this community that are run by residents that have a whole lot that could be offered to our residents, and those things should be presented to us through our community paper. And my husband and I, Trustee Burns, School Board Member Burns, we do an annual white party that I wanted to bring here to Sauk Village. As a matter of fact, that is the white party that I had suggested and talked to the mayor about in December and January of this year. And that white party was strictly wanted to be a village event because there are scholarships that are attached to that event. We were able to be a blessing to only four of our residents, and I wish there could have been so many more, and there could have been so many more scholarships. These scholarships does come with money, and we recognize the award from grammar school, middle school, high school, and college. And we do this every single year. So not just, it's not a village event now, but hopefully we will make this a village event. But in the meantime, it's an event and it's still out there available for our children. The other thing is, we don't always agree, but one thing about us as trustees and the mayor and this board, when we're up here, we're taking care of village business. And whether people in the audience understand our position or not, we should be respected to take care of our business. And our villages and our audience shouldn't start yelling at us or calling us names, because we're up here and I hear all of that, and it's very difficult to hear our mayor and our board members when there's name calling or cursing or yelling or all of that that's happening in the audience while we as trustees are handling our duties. So I thank everyone for understanding that when we're handling our business, please allow us to do so. The other thing is, whenever we have the mic, civility pledge, all of that, whoever has the mic, they have the floor. Whether we like what they're saying at the moment or not, we will have our opportunity to speak. Whether I like or understand what our residents or even my colleagues up here are saying, I don't open my mouth because I respect the fact that they have that mic and it is their opportunity and their turn to express what it is they need to express. And we have to wait until our turn to rebut whatever it is that they're saying. So again, I do ask my colleagues, the mayor, and all of us, please, when the mic is in the hands of the person who's speaking, please do not interrupt them regardless to what we like or not, because it is their turn. And understand that we do have a right to call point of order, take the order back to where it is, and that is the person who has the floor. It's not being disrespectful or argumentative or any of that. The order is, whoever has that mic, they have the floor. We all know that, and I appreciate if we all respect that. I want to congratulate Logan and Layla and Devarian and Devarius. I don't know, I get tongue-tied with those names. I want to thank you for your excellent service. I want to thank the parents that have just diligently worked with the children. You guys have done a fantastic job. I appreciate you. My husband appreciates you guys, and that's why we do what we do. This is just the very beginning. Oh, it's so much more to come. Like Trustee Sapp on you last week, so much more to come. So we thank you. I wish that I can present to you now, even though it's not a Sauk Village event, it is for our Sauk Village residents. But I will, according to the mayor, wait until after the meeting is over, and then I will present you guys' scholarship awards. Thank you again. Thank the residents. We appreciate you guys. And our mission is to make sure that our residents are taken care of in every way possible. Thank you.
Trustee Carter?
No comment.
Trustee Johnson?
No comment at this time.
Trustee Coleman?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First of all, I want to congratulate the scholarship awardees. I can't remember all of your names, so I'm just going to do a blanket congratulations. And, you know, I just wish you all the luck in the world, okay? I'm always trying to think of something to say, you know, but the bottom line is this year. Prayers are being answered, okay? Because right after that Tuesday meeting, I went into prayer mode, okay? And people that I'm associated with, I called them and asked them to pray, you know? And I received a text from a minister. He said, Trustee Coleman, he complimented me. He said, keep going. And I said, thank you, because your prayers are working. When I came after we received our letter of no confidence, thank you, no confidence, I purposely, after the meeting was over with, I came to walk down that aisle because I wanted to hear directly from people who did not have confidence in me. I really wanted to hear what it was that they fell out about or what they have no confidence for. And I'm going to continue to do that because I'm not going to shy away. If you don't like or if you don't approve of something, I want to know what it is. So I will be coming down that aisle again on my way out because I want you to tell me what you don't like. Because that's how you solve problems. You face them. But I want you all to know that we're here, and now that we are here, there's some things that are going on that we have to deal with that you don't know about. You just don't. You won't know because you have to be over here to see it. Okay? You have to be over here to be privy to it. So, but at the same time, you have to understand this here. We're not getting, this is a thankless job. It can't be a thankless job, okay? We're here not because we want to be. I don't see many politicians up here. I see public servants, you know? And we're doing this here because we believe that this needs to be done. We really want to serve. Now, there are going to be misunderstandings. There are going to be some things that you just don't agree with. And then some of you need to find out what's going on. And again, I will walk down that aisle. And if you really want to know what's going on, ask me. So, I'm going to walk down that aisle tonight, okay? And I'm going to invite everybody or anybody who has a question, concern, and whatever it takes, whatever it takes. But I know one thing, 3 types of people. People who want help, people who say they want to help but don't want to help, and people who are just bold enough to tell you they don't want your help. I'm here to help. And depending on what I face tonight, it'll let me know if some people want help. Or they're just, you know, they're just angry. If that's what it is, that's just what it is. There's nothing I can do about that. But if you sincerely want me to help you, if you sincerely want me to, if you have any questions, I'm going to be right here. If you have any grievances, I'm going to be right here. Okay, so thank you. That concludes my, yeah, definitely. My committee, the Ordinance Review Committee, we're meeting the last Monday. It's usually the 4th Monday of every month, Monday night at 7 p.m. The ordinance review, you know, again, I said it and I meant it, it was jokingly, but it is true. A lot of people complain and they say, you know, there's a saying, whenever something is going on that they don't agree with, they say it ought to be a law against it. You ever heard that? It ought to be a law against it. Well, in my committee, we can't address those laws. If it's not a law against it, come and help me find. Come and help me review and correct and make a law against whatever that's bothering this community and this village. So again, September the 25th at 7 p.m. here in the Rotunda, I'm having my Ordinance Review Committee meeting. And I am going to take this time to recruit. I'm still looking for members. If things don't get done, it won't be because I didn't invite you. It'll be because you didn't step forward. So that concludes my comments.
Okay, mine's gonna be kind of short, but I've seen some observations, and I do greatly appreciate the young men or women who receive scholarships from that organization, and I commend that organization for able to give out scholarships to to people that, or to our youth, and I guess it seems like some of the young adults too. But I would be remiss if I didn't comment on the fact that you've had a meeting with the IML that came out, the staff. Is that somebody's fault? Okay. But we're still pointing fingers. And and what happens is what you do up here, believe it or not, the residents do the same, because they feel it's okay if you're doing it. But we cannot go anywhere. Everyone here has a family. And if you, within your family, if you blame, or all you do is talk about what somebody didn't do, you never get off of step one. So until we decide that we want to move the village forward positively, not because I want to step on somebody to step in on someone, pushing them down so I can rise above them. And as far as what was said, as long as I have the mic in my hand, nobody's going to tell me or whatever. If you go off topic, that's my job, is to get you back on topic. I mean, I understand that your heart is full or whatever the case may be, but we're talking about village business. Let's stay on topic about village business, not about personalities. Not about who did what, somebody did this to me and I don't like, that's not what this is about. We're here to conduct business. We're here to move the village forward. We're here to talk about positive. But if we can't do anything, and people will start to see more of these meetings. We lost a broker because we couldn't come together. Simple as that. We couldn't come together. So now we don't have a broker to try to go out there and get us a store. Hopefully, I don't know, maybe we could talk to another one. Hopefully this time it'll work. I don't know. But it was shot down. And believe me, that word and that decision went all over the south suburbs. Went all over the south suburbs. That we can't do work in Sauk Village, or we had a meeting the week before. So there was questions that should have been asked before the meeting, but when the meeting come, they said no. I don't know. But my job is to make sure that we stay on topic. If you go off a topic, I will stop you. I will ask you to get back on topic. That's all I'm asking you to do. But I'm just hoping, we can do what we were elected to do, is move it forward and not argue, not trying to see me, I, whatever. Because that's what it is, that's what it's come to, and I'm hoping that we can stop doing that. And until we don't stop doing it, we won't go anywhere. That being said, I ask for a motion to adjourn.
So second.
Moved by Trustee Johnson, second by Trustee Williams. All in favor? Good night.